Saying that the last 2 years have been unkind to Ben Simmons is somewhat of an understatement. He's had his troubles with the Sixers hierarchy and then became part of a huge trade deal involving James Harden and finally got his move. At the same time, Simmons has been struggling with a number of physical and mental concerns, and now his teammate Seth Curry has issued a warning on his return. Let's take a look. First, Seth believes Simmons' return will be challenging. We'll get to the backstory a little later, but right now, Seth Curry's comments are under the microscope as he's offered an update on his teammate Ben Simmons and talked about a potential return for him. Talking to Melbourne Age and Sydney Morning Herald, the Nets guard explained how a return for the Australian star won't be a straightforward one because it takes a lot of time to regain the basketball rhythm. That's spot on. Even if everything goes well and Simmons takes part in the first game of the NBA season, he wouldn't have played for 16 months prior to that. We're not health experts, but we can say with some confidence that a player who hasn't played a competitive game for 16 months will definitely struggle upon his return. Curry also had some questions which he managed to phrase in the most moderate way possible, as he pointed out that it was unclear to him what Simmons had gone through mentally and it wasn't his place to comment on it. And he said that it'll take some time for him to get reacclimated to playing basketball at the highest level. If you ask us, this is a really nice interview from Curry, as he's taken the pressure off Simmons because all the eyes will be on him whenever he makes his comeback. It's good to see that his teammates aren't adding any additional pressure, considering it'll be hard enough anyway. Next, Curry thinks Nets need Simmons' skill set. Curry's comments on Simmons' return were a proper update, and considering they've been training together, it's good to see that he's focused on making a comeback. It's even better to see that he's got the support of his team, as Seth stressed the importance of having a player like Simmons. He added that Simmons has a skill set that the Nets definitely require, and it would improve the team massively if he can get back to the level he was playing before. We've had all sorts of discourse on Ben Simmons, but no one has ever doubted his defensive skills and just how good he can be on his day. There's a reason he was a #1 pick not so long ago, and in a team that possesses that much offensive threat, a player like Simmons can truly take the Nets to the next level. All we're saying is that if Simmons was playing at the highest level during the Celtics series, they wouldn't have been swept, and that's quite an improvement. And when you add his creativity to the fore, Simmons can truly change the game for the Nets, and one of the players that will benefit the most from his return to basketball is Curry himself. The 26-year-old can help his teammates create the space to get the shots away, and a three-pointer like Seth would absolutely love that. He's also got the ability to guard a plethora of defensive positions, which is a huge plus to someone like Seth and the Nets as a whole. But expectations need to be managed. The biggest takeaway from Seth's interview has to be the fact that you shouldn't expect a lot from Simmons immediately when he makes a comeback. For a player who has struggled with mental issues as much as he's struggled with physical ones, any kind of extra pressure is only going to ruin the chances of him getting back to full potential. Fans can play a huge part in helping him get back to his best, and the Nets will have a decent side even without Simmons when they start the regular season. He can use that period to bed in and slowly make a comeback at the business end of the season. If the Nets can get Simmons ready and raring to go, they'd reap the rewards of a risky trade because his skill set is truly unique. He's not a great shooter, and that's why he might not be a good addition to most teams in the league, but the Nets have fantastic shooters all around him, and it seems as if this role was tailor-made for the Australian. It's good to see Seth talking about how the 26-year-old is using the offseason to regain his health, physically and mentally, and who knows, this break might just be the best thing that's happened to Simmons' career. Plus, the Nets will be hoping they can keep a hold of KD and Kyrie, and if they can get Simmons back to his best, who knows what's possible. Maybe KD wouldn't need to join another team to have a shot at winning the championship. Maybe he could do it right here with Brooklyn. In other news, first up, Celtics leading the chase for Kevin Durant. In the biggest news of the offseason, it has been confirmed that the Boston Celtics are showing a lot of intent in bringing KD to TD. Of course, it won't be an easy trade, and there will be a lot of back and forth, and it's far from being done, at the moment at least. But the fact that they've made their first moves show that the Celtics really want KD, and well, we know that KD really wants a trade. Apparently, they've offered Jaylen Brown as an option for the Nets to consider. In fact, some reports claim that the Nets rejected the first offer, but they've asked for what they want, and if you're a Boston fan, you should be really feeling good about this one. Although, going to a team that swept you in the playoffs is just crazy, then again, KD wants a ring, and he wants it at any possible cost. The Celtics can provide him with the facilities, and he complements them a lot, considering they've got a fantastic defense, and KD will fit them like a glove. Only question that remains is whether the Celtics will be looking to match what the Nets have asked them. There aren't many options left for KD either, considering the Phoenix Suns are out of the race after DeAndre Ayton's signing, and apparently none of the other interested sides can offer what the Celtics are offering with Jaylen Brown. Next, why is James Harden getting the hate for taking a $14 million pay cut? James Harden, not winning a ring despite having such a glittering career, is one of the most heartbreaking stories in the sport. Chasing the elusive ring like Gollum, Harden finds himself in Philly, and considering he's earned more than most of the successful players in the NBA, it was highly surprising to see him take a huge pay cut to stay with the Sixers. Of course, he didn't do it randomly. He's on great terms with the Sixers' president of operations, Daryl Morey, and he wants the franchise to improve the roster and sign the best possible players and give him whatever's left. But somehow, this commendable effort is being criticized by the masses, at least the ones outside Philadelphia. Some pundits, like Max Kellerman of ESPN, openly have said that his reasons for being cynical are that this particular deal is still getting him a guaranteed $27 million, along with an extra year on his deal too. Kellerman doesn't think Harden could get that anywhere else, not in 2 years at least, and that's his reason for doing this. If you ask us, that's just lazy journalism, and people just love to hate, don't they? There are no guarantees in the NBA, and it's just speculation at this point. He won't be making any mischievous money with this agreement. Harden's chasing a ring, and he's done a much more noble thing than KD is doing by taking a pay cut rather than going to a team that humiliated you. Lastly, Jazz and Knicks register interest in Westbrook. Talking about terrible moves, Russell Westbrook's move to the Los Angeles Lakers was one of the worst deals in recent history. The Lakers have more or less accepted that it was a big mistake on their part, and Westbrook agrees, considering he parted ways with his agent after 14 years because he wanted to keep him at the Lakers. Now, however, the Utah Jazz and the New York Knicks have joined the Indiana Pacers as they look to acquire Westbrook, according to Shams Charania. That's not very promising for LeBron and the Lakers, who are hoping to find a way of getting Kyrie in. Charania believes that a deal for Westbrook could include draft capital as well. A move to the Pacers was probably the likeliest to happen before it fell through after Indiana wanted multiple first-round picks for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner along with Russ. But the Lakers didn't have much room to maneuver with draft picks, and that's partly why they couldn't agree to a deal with the Nets either. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Ben Simmons can return to his best when he makes a comeback? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.